So you founded Rock for Choice, which is a series of benefit concerts for the pro-choice movement.
I was disappointed that when Roe v. Wade got overturned, there weren't riots in the streets.
This is an experience of the void.
L7 is a savage band that carved out a unique sound via anger anthems, humour, and a vital hard rock energy chiseled from punk rock.
Hi, I'm Christina. Welcome to Occupy the Void, a show about music, mental health, and creativity. I have a very special guest today, the mighty Donita Sparks of L7, a band that I have loved for a very long time. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Christina.
Now, your music is filled with power and sometimes rage. I want to know what made you enraged when you started and how has it changed to now?
Well, I think when we started, we needed to prove that we were tough cookies. And, we were just kind of powerful, not a lot of melody yet, and not like zero vulnerability. And I think as we went on, we got more comfortable with our pop side and with a bit of vulnerability as well.
Well, you made some bangers, like you made some capital S songs. Not everyone gets to do that.
Well, we have some pretty good anger anthems.
Yeah.
I feel.
100%.
So, but we've got some other stuff too. We've got some fun songs.
Oh,
We're not,
100%.
Yeah.
And not taking yourself too seriously and doing humor is really important. And
Yeah.
we shouldn't take ourselves too seriously. Just on rage, so you founded Rock for Choice, which is a series of benefit concerts for the pro-choice movement.
Yeah.
With Nirvana and like
Everybody.
Pearl Jam, Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is a pretty dark time. What do you think has been the mental health impact on women of Roe vs. Wade being overturned? Because it's amazing that you've kind of fought for that, and it's an important movement.
Yeah, it's. I think it's really intense, and I think with this last election, I think everybody's in shock. Really, I think everybody's just like, what the fuck
That's
just
what we're living in.
happened?
Yeah.
So I don't even think we've really even processed what went down yet. So I mean. I was disappointed that when Roe v. Wade got overturned, there weren't riots in the streets.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, where the fuck is everybody? So, especially the young women who are able to have children. It's like, ooh, you better get out there and start, protecting yourselves because this is a serious thing.
Yeah, and Dave from GWAR said something. He's like,
everybody goes into the streets and they don't go to work. It's worked before. The freaking Indians in India, even though they don't call themselves that, they were led by this little bald fuck called Gandhi. And they fucking busted out many, many, many years of English colonial rule because they just said, fuck you.
when you don't go to work, nothing works. If we actually didn't go to work, we'd be, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the grit and dirt and chug of L7 can hit really right when you're having a rough time. I spent a lot of time sad and less sad. So there's something soul restoring about hard and dirty rock and roll. How was discovering the sound and creating your own affected your own mental health? How did it change you?
For L7 finding a sound?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm a depressive anyway. I've been on antidepressants for decades, And I think almost everybody in the band is on antidepressants. So, it's kind of... in fact, I went on... This is kind of personal, but who cares?
This is why we're here. This is what we're here for.
I went on antidepressants when the band went on hiatus because I really felt a loss of identity. And I call them my Oprah years because I watched a lot of Oprah on the couch. I was taking naps as a 39-year-old, who takes naps in the after, you know what I mean? It was just, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't anymore, so it's weird.
Yeah.
But, so I would say that being in a functioning band is good for my mental health, for sure.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
a family, right?
It's not a family by any means. No. No. Oh, no.
What is it then?
It's a business, business associates, and we come together for the music. We don't really hang out much.
Yeah.
We've never been tight friends. But we get together for the music. And when we started, there were so few females playing the kind of music we were playing that we just kind of, gravitated to each other, and that and that's still sort of the relationship.
100%. And I think you guys came out of the underground scene in LA, and that's how you linked up, right?
I mean, Susie and I are from the art punk scene in Los
Awesome.
Angeles,
Yeah.
and the rest of us were from punk rock, beginnings.
What was it like to have that kind of community around you? Because now I think we're quite disconnected with social media and all that kind of shit. What was it like having that immediacy of like scene and live venues and all that kind of stuff?
Well, when Susie and I started out, you know, we were, like I said, around a lot of art punks, people with like new wave bands. I mean, we started in like '85.
Wild.
So there were like roots rock bands, cowpunk, new wave, all kinds of different stuff other than hard rock. I mean, there was a hard rock scene, but those people shredded. We do not shred. We rock, but we've never shredded, you know, that's not our bag. So like we took hard rock and took a punk rock approach to it, and that's kind of what we did. And that was not a conception, but looking back now, that's exactly what we fucking did, because our skills are limited as musicians. You know, we've gotten better over the years.
You got power.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but it's like we don't need to shred. I'd rather listen to like a simple, catchy guitar solo than a lot of doodle 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 doodle. So, you know, that's kind of what we do.
What were the kind of moments where, I know like you copped, you know, it's, dude, I operate in a boys club and always have. It's like you cop a lot of stupid shit. You know, I got my friends who are drummers and they're like, oh, you're carrying your boyfriend's equipment. It's like, no, this is my actual stage. But what kind of, I feel like artists like Nirvana and stuff seemed kind of cool about supporting women and not being like that Motley Crue kind of really misogynist thing. What kind of has given you hope over your career that maybe things are changing and, you know, for the better?
Well, first I want to say that a lot of those metal bands embraced us pretty early on.
That's awesome.
Slash, Tay Me Down from Faster Pussycat. I think even maybe a couple of the Motley Crue guys, we met them and they were very nice to us. So I don't think that I don't know, maybe they talk shit behind our back, but I don't think so.
So it was actually supportive, and because they recognized you proved yourself with your music.
Yeah, I think they liked us, and I'm sure there were some He-Man woman haters out there, but we didn't, you know, they certainly didn't have the cojones to come up to us and say anything, you 100%. Know what I mean? So it's like...
It's a beautiful thing. So you did Bricks Are Heavy. You came back and did that record in full a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
What were like the biggest challenges and most like inspiring moments? Because there's some bangers on that record, dude. It's like 37 minutes of power.
Yeah.
Like what were the challenge, like how was it like on your mental health, kind of going into that mode and kind of coming out with such a you know, it's a perfect rock record. Yeah.
Well, you know, some of the songs were challenging, like Wargasm is, you know, probably the closest, you know, it's kind of math rock. You know, there's a lot going on in that song.
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot of concentration, and we were playing that right as the first song, you know, so that was challenging. And then the last song we had never played live, This Ain't Pleasure, but they both turned out okay. And, you know, we got Wargasm pretty tight, you know, and This Ain't Pleasure, we just kind of, I whammy barred my way through it, sort of. You know, when in doubt, use your tremolo bar.
100%. That's important. That's an important thing. Like, now you said once I wanted to transcend gender out of the gate. There's a really interesting thing going on where there's a big changing of the guard in terms of people like accepting different genders, and like, what do you think's what's happening with that kind of movement right now, and what do you think's missing from that conversation? Because you want to transcend gender, so it's interesting. Like Genesis P-Orridge wanted to transcend gender from Throbbing Gristle.
Yeah, I think I meant that when I said it about L7, like to not be referred to as a female band or something.
Word.
But I will say one of my proudest feelings about L7 is the strength that we gave to so many trans people. Like, you wouldn't believe, like, it's just... I mean, it makes me cry, you know, like when some trans person comes up to me and says, my God, you guys were my savior coming out of a stereo speaker, you know, like going through high school or all that stuff. So that, I think, I feel is one of our proudest achievements.
100%. Yeah. And like, this is a mental health show, and the stats for mental health in the trans community are just terrifying. Like, it's just, so I think music can be so healing. Were there records or like sounds or things that saved you, like especially in the Oprah years? Like, what struck a chord with you? What made you feel like solace out of the speaker, sort of thing?
God, that's such a hard question, because you know, when you're in a band, when you hear another band that's great, you get a little jealous. You know, so I loved bands. There's a band called Soundtrack of Our Lives from Sweden. Do you know who they are? Really
I
great
suck, but I'll
fucking.
check 'em out, yeah.
And I would just listen to their music and just be like, God damn, they are good songwriters, you know. And then, so it's a weird. It's like it's admiration and a little bit of jealousy going on at the same
power.
time. Yeah.
Now, you quite infamously once threw your used tampon into the crowd, and that's a baller move. What ran through your mind at that moment? I just think it's a baller move. I think it's, yeah. I'm sorry.
We were being pelted with mud, assaulted with mud. Other bands got it too, but like, and I've sort of just realized this, like, recently, like, when you are a minority in a scene, when something goes down like that, you feel it's an attack on your minority, so that's what was going through my head. I was just like, fuck, man, this feels weirdly misogynistic, and like, this feels weird,
Yeah.
And also we had such high expectations for that show, like it was going to be, we're going to the top.
Yeah, totally.
Like, and it was just not that way. So, I've always been a feminist. I was raised as a feminist, and I'm also an absurdist. So it was a combo moment.
That's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Feminism is a...
So is absurdism.
It should be, yeah, and they go well together.
They do indeed.
Now, our final question is, how would you define mental health, and especially like as an artist?
Gosh, I am a person who was blessed with great parents and middle-class upbringing. I never wanted for anything. We weren't wealthy, but we weren't hurting either.
Yeah.
So I'm not really a person to speak about, there are some people with some real big issues going on, even within L7, like backgrounds that are different. Interestingly, we're all middle-class gals, but from very different family dynamics.
It's interesting, hey?
Yeah.
It's so impactful on the rest of your life.
Yeah, totally.
It's really powerful.
Absolutely. And it's impactful navigating that, too.
Especially with each other.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
navigating each other's
exactly.
thing.
Like, I didn't get some of the issues until way later,
It's wild, hey? Like,
yeah.
How do you pull yourself out of a dark place? How do you get, like, vibey? How do you find your joy and power, and especially when you go on stage?
My significant other helps me a lot.
Awesome.
To get my head screwed on straight, like gratitude, not attitude. Gratitude, not depression. You're not doing this. You've got the best part-time job in the world.
100%.
I mean, it's true. It's
Yeah.
like I get to be a part-time rock person.
Yeah. It's
I mean, what's
amazing.
better than that? It's a full-time rock person would be better.
Yeah. But
part-time's cool.
Let's be honest, it's a reality. It's now the reality of the world we
exactly.
live in. And
exactly.
I'm just glad you're still going and
Thank
you came
you.
back.
Thank you for having me,
And
Christina.
yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
Awesome.
Peace
cool.
out.
This is an experience of the void.
Thanks so much for watching Occupy the Void. This week's episode is a bit special. We have an exclusive deep dive audio interview with another fierce frontwoman of rock, Shauna Potter of War on Women, who talks about her work as a musician and author, an intimacy coordinator, which is a really fascinating new step for her. To get a taste of War on Women live, here is a moment from a documentary I made with her called Her War is Our War. This is the band live.
Thank you.